So today I would like you to meet, and I'd like to talk about Richard Mullins. It's my wife's uncle. He's not here. He passed away years ago. I do have photographs and some of his patches and badges and ribbons, and I also have a photocopy of his discharge papers. He was in the Army Air Force from 43 to the end of 1945, and he was based out of Guam, and he was a photographer. So when he passed away, my wife, I took her out to his home, and we went through his belongings and things and brought home things that was important to her, and brought home several file boxes of photographs that he had taken while he was in the Army Air Force based out of Guam doing bombing runs over Japan. So what I'd like to do is to show you the pictures here and some of his patches, and then also show you a couple of the photographs that I have matted and framed myself, since I have that capability. And yet I would also want to show you other photographs that was taken during that time. And I have some that appear to be, say, target acquisition. There's the bombing runs and then the damage assessment type of things. I pulled several out. I've got, say, quite a few, but also he was also the photographer. So near the end, after I do that, I want to show you photographs that he took, I suppose, as a newspaper photographer of automobile accidents, and some of them kind of gruesome. And also, I have other photographs that show Lindbergh, Mussolini, Tito, the Hindenburg disaster, of not the actual event, but the review of the coffins and different things like that. So it's interesting that I have these photographs, and they're historical photographs of the events and people. So let me show you real quick what we have here on this table, and I'll do a close-up, and then I'll show you the photographs that I've matted and framed, and then we'll move on to the ones that are just the photographs themselves. When he was in the Army Air Force with the camera that he was using, and my understanding is that he did help develop the aerial photography, in how it's done, and the camera and everything. I can't be certain of that. So over here is another photograph of him in one of the airplanes. Here's a button. He was a photographer, the photo lab tech. And then of course, the other buttons here. Let me move that. And the ribbons, I don't know what they are. I suppose somebody could tell me. I'm not sure how to actually look up to what they were and what they were from. And here's this photocopy from his discharge papers, and it's also been, has this notary seal on it. So I'm going to take you downstairs and show you, about 6 photographs that he had taken that I matted and framed, and then we'll move on to the ones that are not matted or framed. So here is one of the photographs that was taken, and you got the bomber there in the sky and the clouds and the land. Over here is another one from the airfield at night with lights. And I'm sorry about the reflection on the glass here. I'm hoping you guys can see these good enough. This one, I think everybody should know pretty much what this one is. Now, whether he actually took the photos that were in the newspapers or this was his, or I'm sure there was other photographers there, and you can see who all's in the picture. I don't have any of the actual Japanese dignitaries that signed the papers. Down here, the USS Missouri at 10:30 on September 2nd, 1945, where the surrender papers were signed. And there's Mount Fuji in the background with the bombers. And then I have this one here of a bomber that crashed and burned on landing. So I'll take you back upstairs and we'll go through the photographs that I haven't done anything with yet. And we'll start off with this photograph first. That's Richard there on the left, his wife in the middle. The other gentleman on the right, I don't know who that is. He did marry and move out to Arizona and became a sheriff out there, but he also started a trading post and dealt with the Navajos and did learn how to speak their language so he could deal with them. And I don't have, but he had a lot of Indian blankets and weavings and jewelry that was made by them. So that's him there after the service. Okay, there's an airfield with the bombers all lined up. Got the photograph there of Mount Fuji. There's the bombers there. And here they are on a bombing run. There's some more there, whether on the way for a run or on their return. And right here is their logo for their photography team. And here's their Quonset hut, again with their logo above it, where they did everything after returning. And here is a newspaper clipping that was talking about the dark rooms, revealed the story of the B-29 raids. So let me come in on this a little bit for you. And they are talking to Richard Mullins in this article. And not only do I have aerial shots, but I also have where he was actually on the ground after the surrender. And here you have one of the bombers, looks like it has engine problems there, and here's the slick chick with the crew and the bombing raids that they did there, marked on the side of the fuselage and how many Japanese airplanes they'd shot down. And over here, again, you get another bomber with the crew. And there's another photograph of pilot and co-pilot on a plane. And you got a guard at the airfield. And here we have another bombing raid. Another one of the bombers. Kind of tight formation there. And there's another photograph of Richard there in the airplane with the camera. There's some other airplanes there. And so here we have photographs of the bombing run. And on that one, I can't make out where it was from. This one here is from Yokohama. This next one's from Nagoya. Over here, if I'm pronouncing it right, is Otak. And again, if I'm pronouncing it right, is Osaka. This is a night bombing run. And here we have Osaka. And I would say these were the damage assessment photos. And here's another one from Osaka. Now on these, it looks like these are made for like a presentation book, scrapbook or something. It has multiple photographs on the page with kind of telling what it's about or a play on words type of thing. So let's get a closer look as I go through each one of them. And of course I said he did also take photographs on the ground. And this is the Mitsubishi Marine Engine Plant. Some Japanese women. Here's the next one. And they said this one here is the Masashino aircraft engine plant. And this is in Kobe, Kuru Naval Base. And there's a Jap carrier in there, a Jap battleship. And then you have a Japanese airfield, which was bombed. And here we have the Mitsubishi aircraft plant. And on this one, I do have a larger photograph of that. This is in Nagoya. And here in Tokyo, Japan. You got a streetcar there. And this is their downtown area of Tokyo. And there's a fireman there in Tokyo. And one was the fire chief. And there's the chief of the Tokyo Police Force. And over here is Yokohama. also have the police chief of Nagasaki. So and then here's this larger photograph that I had of the Mitsubishi plant. All right, so now we'll take a look at other photographs. Like I said, Lindbergh, Tito, Mussolini, the Hindenburg. So here's one of the 4 photographs that I have for the funeral for the Hindenburg victims. And they also came with these taglines here. And as a newspaper reporter, he had access to these. And I think these are the taglines since they came loose. I hope I have them with the right photograph. And this one, excuse me, this one here doesn't have a tagline with it. And there's the one that I have of Mussolini. And this one does have a tagline for it. Here's the tagline for this one. So the tagline for this one. And I do have 2 photographs of Emperor Hirohito. Here's a picture of Charles Lindbergh. I'm not sure if that's his wife there in the background or who he's meeting with. And if this had a tagline with it, I don't know where that one is. And I have a couple others of the portraits of King George. This is a colonel. This does have a tagline for it. And this was before the coronation. And here's afterwards. And this one looks more like a wire photo because of the lines through it. And this one comes with the tagline. So now we'll move on to his personal photos that he took of car accidents as a reporter or as a photographer. So here's this kimono that Richard brought back from Japan, gave to his sister, my wife's mother. And I can't remember at what point that she gave it to us. I've been able to hang it up, and I'll take a closer look, but it's faded quite a bit and it's deteriorating because over the years and the fabric, and I'm not sure where she had it, so. So I have 10 photos of kind of devastating car accidents here. And these two, excuse me, these two photos are of the same accident. You can tell there they've got some chains around that trying, I guess, to get him out. And these two photos go together. They're the same accident. A lot of people gathered for the accident there. And again, I don't know if this one might be the same car as above after they'd separated them. I'm not sure. And the last thing I'd like to do is I'll show you this kimono that Richard Mullins brought back and gave to his sister, which I do have now.